Mohamed Galal, you're the chairman of Tasweeq shopping malls in Egypt. Could you just give me a summary of what it is you do?
Well, actually, Tasweeq Shopping Malls is the first Egyptian company that is specialized in the leasing, management, and retail consultancy in Egypt and countries like Syria and Libya and Sudan. We're a new company. We've been there in the market for the last, year and a half. And our headquarters are in Cairo, Egypt, and we have offices in Syria and in Sudan now.
You've been speaking at the conference here about alternative sources of funding available for project funding. Can you talk us through the highlights?
Well, actually, I'm very lucky because this is not really my first session speaking at Cityscape, and it's quite interesting to be actually in Cityscape, and especially Abu Dhabi. This is my first time in Abu Dhabi. Before it was Dubai and Jeddah and Riyadh. I'm very interested to see this crowd of investors and real estate developers and potential end users also being there around and interested to learn more about the industry. So anyway, yesterday we had quite an interesting panel, and in the panel we had bankers and we had also investors from capital and stock markets. And the discussion was all about financing and forms of financing. We all know that today money is quite expensive, and it's always difficult for the real estate developer and investor to find suitable sources of financing for their projects. So the discussion was all about that, and just in brief, the conclusion was that we expect that banks during the coming few months and maybe short-term year will be ease a little bit the criteria for expanding and extending loans to real estate investors and developers, and maybe using those developers to be a bridge to get to the end users of real estate, because now we realize that most of the buyers of real estate are not investors but are end users who would like to really use those properties. So it was quite actually positive yesterday, and we all hope that things will be easier in 2011 but much better in 2012.
Egypt recently underwent a revolution which resulted in the removal of Mubarak. How has this event changed the investment climate in Egypt?
Well, it has totally, I would say, put a lot of clouds on the investment climate in Egypt today, because really Egypt was like a train in motion the last 5 years, and we were almost at full speed. Then the revolution took place in January of 2011. And today we consider to be in the short term, which is immediately the consequences or the aftershock of the revolution. So we do not expect things to happen much the coming few months. But I guess now this is really the period of reforms. And for the medium term and the long term, I think Egypt will continue to be a very attractive venue for investors, especially from the Middle East, because we're so close from you, or from Middle Easterns. We'll have more political stability, we'll have a better and a more a cleaner legal system, which are really the two catalysts that do simulate investments in a new country. But now, as you just mentioned, it's unfortunately we're in the short term. We do not expect things to happen much, but we're taking positive steps to improve the climate. And also, it's our role today, as Egyptians businessmen living in Egypt, to try to assure all the regional investors that their investments in Egypt are safeguarded. They will not lose anything. They will not lose their investments. Their investment will not deteriorate. But it's just, we consider it to be like a freeze situation, like, you know, when you're watching a movie and you just hold the picture. This is really what's happening now, more or less, in terms of investments.
So there was a huge amount of redevelopment going on in Egypt. It's got a massive shortage of affordable homes. What does the future hold?
Well, during the last 5 years, we had a total of $45 billion of foreign direct investment that came into Egypt. Almost 60% of that went into real estate, because there is a big shortage of residential units and also commercial in terms of offices and in terms of retail developments. We are a country with a population of more than 80 million. We're the largest in the region, and so really what's happening now is that there is a slow motion situation, but eventually it will have to recover very quickly, because the need is there, and the need for residential is there, the need for retail is there, the need for office space is there. Businesses cannot close down, but it's just, I would consider, a period of holiday for most of the businesses now in Egypt.